I'm John Vertu, President of the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. For 20 years, we've hosted our National Taxpayers Conferences, and these conferences are an opportunity to bring in activists from all over America. In 2007, we brought in 400 folks from the U.S. and actually from around the world, and gave them an opportunity to network, to learn, and hopefully get inspired in their fights for freedom and lower taxes where they live and the communities where they live. In a few minutes, you're going to hear from some of them about what they've been working on, the fights they're fighting, and how they're going about doing that. We've also interspersed some clips from some of our conference speakers, which I think you're going to enjoy. During the 20 years of our conferences, our conference alumni have been involved in almost every single state and local tax fight around the country. And we, as you'll see in a few minutes, the conference attendees this year are writing history as we speak. I think you'll enjoy the video, and I think you'll also enjoy our website, NTUF, which I hope you'll visit after you watch the video. Our website will give you easy opportunities to get involved, and we'll also give you information about what's going on in your state and locality. So I hope you enjoy the video, and hope to see you at our website, NTUF. Thanks.
The most important thing that we did in Arizona this last election cycle was pass a measure on eminent domain and regulatory takings, which passed by 65%. Basically, what our initiative did was protect eminent domain from being taken for anything other than a true public use. We defined that as not being taken from one private party to be given to another private party for economic development. That is a taboo. We also redefined blight. So blight is no longer an area. It has to be parcel by parcel, which stops developers from coming in and condemning with the city, in collusion with the city, whole neighborhoods.
We're excited about projects we have going on all over the country. Recently, our Florida chapter, for example, was instrumental in preventing a rollback of a citizens' initiative passed term limit provision that the legislature was trying to force through. They're also very active in the Tabor project. Some of our members up in Maine have been very successful with real ID limitation, and we have similar successes all over the country.
We've, at the Tennessee Center for Policy Research, are focused on a lot of state issues as well, such as our state surplus, $1.7 billion this year. Hardly any of it was returned to taxpayers. But they also, on top of the surplus, increased taxes. They put in a 42-cent tax increase on cigarettes. So we certainly have out-of-control government spending, and we're watching out for that.
I'm here today because some of us process language in a different culture, that's Spanish. Aquí estoy este día para decirle a ustedes, señores, señoras, abuelitas y abuelitos, que donde está todo su dinero, que se paga todos los días en taxes. Y sabemos que les quitan mucho dinero. Si usted quiere saber dónde va ese dinero y por qué tanto dinero le están sacando de sus salarios, por favor, hay muchos grupos en los Estados Unidos, Taxpayers, y aquí se puede mucho en su comunidad, especialmente yo soy de Corpus Christi, Texas, y tenemos un grupo allí, y por favor los invitamos, no más en Corpus Christi, pero en toda la nación, tenemos muchos grupos. Por favor, edúcase, porque es muy importante, usted puede hacer una diferencia. ¿Dónde se va a ir sus dineros en taxes? ¿Sabe usted? Puede ser una diferencia. Gracias.
Most recent victories was just this last November, where we beat a statewide parcel tax. We had the largest margin of victory of any of the statewide measures. That was Prop 88, and we're now looking forward to doing a property rights initiative. It was very good to hear Governor Gilmore this noontime, and he's launching a property rights effort, and we are looking at the June of '08 ballot to qualify an initiative, and we're securing the funding for that right now, and it looks actually quite positive.
This is my 7th budget we're working on right now. I'm part of the thin red line that are standing in the way of our governor and the Democrats in the Senate, who have a majority there, from raising our taxes by about $2 billion.
Right at the moment, we're working on market value assessment and all of the detriments of market value assessment, how it's taking people's property away from them, and we've been somewhat successful. We've been able to force an investigation of the property tax assessment within Ontario, and through the Ombudsman's office, he came out with this report, and it was not a glowing report at all about market value assessment. On top of that, we were able to force the government into a 2-year freeze on any increases in market value assessment. They figured that their semi-government organization would take 2 years to change everything around. In actual fact, since I worked for them for 30 years, it should only take no more than 3 months. But there's a political election coming up on October the 10th, and so they decided that they'll defer any decisions till after the election, and we're going to be ready for them.
Yesterday we presented 5,000 names, a 5,000 petition to the government, to Downing Street, against local taxes, and this is called our brown envelope campaign. We got people to photocopy their local council tax return, write a letter to Gordon Brown, who's the Chancellor in the UK, and send it to us so we can present it to him to campaign against local taxes. And I think the key lesson from this is that when the boss goes away, the campaign does very well, because we had Sky there, we had BBC there, it was covered in all the national papers, so they did a fantastic job whilst I've been in the US.
Well, we've been working on, our mandate is lower taxes, less government waste, more government accountability, and a lot of what we do is democratic reform as well as hopefully tax reform and lowering taxes. One of the things we've seen most recently is the election of a new Prime Minister, a Conservative Prime Minister, although he has a minority government, which is something that Americans don't usually have to deal with, a bicameral two-party system. We have multi-parties, and he has a minority government. But he has been successful in pushing Senate reform. We have an appointed Senate in Canada where the Prime Minister chooses all the senators. Very undemocratic, and it's a complete waste of money. Many Canadians want to see it abolished. We want to see it either elected or abolished. And he has moved to make that provinces will elect their own senators. So it's a step in the right direction, something we're very excited about. We're also excited about some tax relief we have seen. We have seen, unfortunately not in the vein of the fair tax. We actually saw a reduction in our general goods and services tax, our sales tax. While it is tax relief, we will take it, and we were happy with that. Although we remain to be a very overtaxed nation, we have a massive half a $1 trillion debt for a fairly small country. And in fact, since our budget has been balanced, we've seen $95 billion in surplus in the last little over a decade, yet very little in terms of tax relief. So we're still fighting for a lot more tax relief.
Just been back to Denmark launching a book about why the low-tax American system is better than the Scandinavian model of high taxes and high government spending.
And is this a bestseller yet? This seems like it would be a very popular idea.
It's getting there. It's sold 50% in the first edition in 1 week, and hopefully within the next year or so, you will have lots of Danes coming over to look at low taxes in America.
And what do you rate the chance of success at lowering taxes in Denmark to be?
I think people have to be educated, but then it'll happen, and I think that a lot of what NTU does can be of inspiration to the Danish voters.
And what average tax rate are Danish citizens looking at?
Well, if you want to buy a car, you have to pay a 180% sales tax, for instance. Typically, you'd pay 50% in income taxes. The marginal tax rate is 60%.
Wow, this should be a very popular book. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.